神の定めにさえ反旗を翻す Gangster感情をかき消すウェイ悪魔に背くと違って光ら報復とは終末か未来を乞う生き方を捨てて挑むものを捨ていこうそうさ目には目を裏切り者にはレクイエムを戻る道さえも焼き尽くしたさ支配という安息に溺れたまま時のサボるより革命を起こせ誇り高き裏切り者にはレクイエムを
Hello everybody and welcome to the Comicsgate Art stream. My name is Brian. How are you guys doing? I'm not in the best spirits today. So it's Fan Art Friday and I'm gonna pick up from where I left off and try to finish this Giorno Giovanna / Gold Experience image that I started. So basically I'm just adding colors to Giorno here. But I think I'm going to change some things in the face as well. How are my audio levels? Do I sound okay? Is the music fighting with me too much? Let me know in the comments. Alright, so Let's switch to pen. Is this pen okay? That's okay. It's not quite what I'm looking for, though. I think I started this one in pencil. What's eating you, dude? The massacre in New Zealand is bugging me, mainly. I think that's the main problem. It's pretty fucked up, man. You know? It's kind of hard to stay positive when shit like that is happening. And I'm bummed out from it. You know, it's just another one of those things that didn't have to happen. Yeah, that kind of sucks. It was a horrible scene, yeah. And, but you know what? The worst part is the media is gonna run with it. I mean, the media is like, it's like the worst thing on this planet, I swear. Like, other organisms or whatever, institutions, you can, as long as you have an honest media, then you can, like, prepare yourself. You can even, you know, fight against them. But when the media is your enemy, I'm sorry, but I think that they don't get enough demonization. They are the worst thing. If it weren't for the media, this guy couldn't even do what he did. He probably wouldn't have been driven to it. I mean, I don't know. I don't know the guy's psychological profile, but this is what happens when nihilism, I believe, becomes like the norm for people. It's just, you push men to the outskirts, you take away their voice. I don't know what this guy's, if he even has politics. I can't say that I believe anything. The media is basically the ministry of truth. You don't seem to be displaying the art. Oh, I forgot. I'm sorry. I fucked up. That's my bad. I'm like working and you guys don't see what I'm doing. Apologize. They're the worst. Just terrible. Sorry, I didn't display. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's a real bummer. And like I said, they're just gonna run with it, and this is what we're gonna have to do. Even like people who are reporting on it are getting this wrong. I'm so sick of this, like, left-right paradigm. It just does not add up. It doesn't add up. But people are falling for it. I saw Tim Pool's video on it, Steven Crowder's video on it. People are just I don't know. They're getting this. What did Tim Pool call them? Right? He gets it from the left and right wing identitarians. What the hell is a right wing identitarian? It doesn't make sense because basically the narrative is that if the identitarianism is pro-white, then it's right-wing. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. But people are playing into it. Why? White identitarians are not right-wing, no matter what. They're not. Or at the very least, that trait doesn't make it so. You know? It's so annoying. They get that wrong. Just making some, like, anatomical changes here that I'm spotting. Alright, well, anyway. The media is based on... Have you seen the V's video on this? I think he's right on the right track. I'm going through the manifesto myself. I'm not sure Crowder fell for it. Yeah, no. Crowder didn't fall for the guy's manifesto of memes. I've seen that, and Aiden too. She did a video on it as well, and I think Aiden is on the money. I think Crowder knows, you know, that his, I guess you could say his side isn't to blame, although he identifies, I think he's more so speaking as a conservative and not necessarily as a right-wing person. I think there's a difference. I'm serious about this. I've looked into it. No matter what people call it, I don't care how popular it is to use a term, that doesn't make it correct. And that's important. And I have to be anal retentive about it, because this is what this is how it works, right? You fuck with the people's ability to communicate with each other, and then everything goes to shit. It's like Tower of Babel. We can't, like, communicate our ideas because we don't understand them. Okay. So, I like that better. Although, I don't know. I might want to change the donuts. I'll leave them alone. Normally this would give me nightmares, but Islamists have done so many things that I do not have compassion for them anymore, and I don't like it. Yeah, well, I guess I try to make a distinction between Muslims and Islamists. Islamists, I only want justice for Islamists that have actually committed crimes. For having the wrong kinds of beliefs, I'll fight them on that. But I don't want anything to happen to them. Muslims in general, though, I feel bad for, because they're the biggest victims of Islamists, right? Like, they're usually the main ones that are affected by radical Islamists. Or at least the first ones. It's like that guy, the saying that the guy from the first Captain America said, you know, the first people the Germans went after were their own. And I think that's true. I think that that's usually how it plays out. I mean, you know, the communists killed mostly their own people. Does that mean that, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, I'm getting off track, but yeah, I understand what you mean. It can be like, you get compassion fatigue, right? You only have like so much compassion. That's why it's hard to feel bad for people who are, like, you know, crying about thin privilege. I'm just making a joke because it's like, things are dark, man. Interestingly, someone likened the shooter to the Heath Ledger Joker, kind of like the guy who shot up the movie theater when was it Dark Knight came out, or I think it was Dark Knight. Most Muslims are Islamists. Okay, I don't know what the numbers are, but sure. somehow PewDiePie is involved or something. No. The dude used memes and he said, subscribe to PewDiePie before he did the thing. And so people are basically saying that, you know, he's essentially promoting, or PewDiePie radicalized him somehow. Must have been with Meme Review, I don't know. That's what it is, though. Here we go. Alright, so I'm going to do some skin, and I'm going to try this new watercolor brush. Oh, that's too light. Can't even see it. Can't even see it. That's not going to work. Let's try... I'll do India ink instead. Maybe that'll work. I don't know. Yeah, okay. It's very thick. That's good. I like it like that. I like them big, big. I like them chunky, chunky. I like them big. Anyway. Sometimes you just gotta be sloppy, like on the first run, just let it be a mess, and then you can fix it up later. Clean it up. I think that Aiden got it right. Yeah, she'll probably do a more robust video on it later, but I don't want to think that way. Yeah, I understand. Like I said, I get it. But I think that, yeah, you just got to keep telling yourself, you know, they're people. They're people like us. They just have a different belief system. And yes, there's some fucked up shit in the culture that I think creates people like that, right? Like, I don't know if you know what I mean, but I don't think that it's... I don't know. I try to take people as individuals first. And if I learn they are Islamists, I treat it like if I learn that somebody is, you know, an ethno-nationalist or a feminist. I try to consider that I don't agree with the ideas, but I don't want anything bad to happen to the people. And I have sympathy, like, you know, if it ever happened, I don't think it will, but if, like, you know, some women's march gets shot up and a bunch of pussy hat wearing feminists are killed, I will speak out against that, and I will have a lot of sympathy, because I think that most people are, they want to make the world better, but they just don't know, you know, how to do it. Or they have the wrong ideas, or they're not informed on all of the, you know, nuances of the things that they are advocating for or against. You know, like they just hear the mainstream media narrative. That's why I say the media is the big problem. It is the main problem. And I know people will say that, you know, it's very cliche, but I'm sorry, I can't think of a more important adversary. And it's been this way for a long, long time, right? I mean, in Gamergate, a lot of like nerdy people, they caught the full brunt of it, and they thought, well, you know, this is unethical. And I know that by comparison, it's really small potatoes, but like, think about it though. You know, it's the same thing. It's coming from the same place. What really pisses me off is that in the Netherlands, they have immediately increased security around mosques as if this guy is part of an international extreme right-wing organization. Yeah, they're treating it like that because the media is running with it. That's what I'm talking about. It's like my wife when I were talking this morning, and she said, you know, after 9/11 happened, the left and the media basically immediately came out and started like fear-mongering to make Americans and Muslims be afraid of anti-Muslim reactionist terrorism. And like the media went wild with it, right? They started like, you know, blaming America for what happened in 9/11. They started like trying to guilt trip white people. They started you know, started this narrative of fear around Muslims in general, i.e. like to make Muslims afraid of Americans, of everybody else. After 9/11, this is going to be like that on steroids. Like 50, I know that 9/11 killed way more people, but this is anytime there is an instance in which it could possibly maybe be spun that a white guy killed a bunch of brown people because they were brown, the media runs with it. And I'm sorry, there's just no evidence that any of this is motivated by that. The only thing we know for sure is that it's motivated by a guy who said he wanted to divide people. He told us in the manifesto that he wanted to essentially accelerate towards civil war. He said it, and that doesn't matter. They're gonna run with the story anyway, even though it's blatant what he's doing. He said that's what he was doing. Media doesn't care. They don't care. And that's why I can't stand them. I can't stand them. Zarank says, I guess, but Heath Ledger's Joker is given the air of intelligent thought behind his actions. I don't think the Colorado shooter is the same. No, but I mean, it was an act of anarchic violence, you know, that was just random. As far as I heard, the snippets of news, this guy is basically a Timothy McVeigh. Yeah, people are comparing him to Anders Breivik as well. I think the New Zealand shooter put cues in his video and manifesto to spark stuff off. Subscribe to PewDiePie, noting Candace Owens as an influence. Yeah, I know. Using Muslims as his targets. I know. It's and referencing his use of guns and why he used guns. Absolutely, that's what I'm saying. It's obvious, and the media's gonna run with it. They don't give a shit. The war has already begun. It's just a matter of it remain a cold war if it's going to heat up. Muslims all over the world make trouble. Hey, Ken. We're talking about the darkest timeline, which is the one apparently that we're in. Yeah, so I don't know, man. Like I said, it's a dark time. It's a dark time indeed. So, I think that the social media crackdown is gonna like get really extreme. It's crazy too, because this is like in a whole other part of the world, right? This is like in New Zealand. I'm surprised he didn't like drop a Jordan B. Peterson reference, like I'm gonna go clean my roommates or something like that. I guess Peterson's just not like, you know, really huge right now, but he was just in New Zealand. So who knows, man? You know? Is this what 4chan does to people? Maybe I should be glad I don't really go there. I think I've only been there a couple times. I don't usually go to 4chan. It's crazy. I worked as a social worker with Muslims. Went to a majority Muslim is what I should say. Muslim school, and they're all Islamist to some extent. Well, so are you saying that Imam Tawhidi has his work cut out for him, and he probably isn't going to change anything? Or are you saying that he might also be an Islamist, and he's just like playing everybody? Is that possible? I mean, he seems pretty based to me. Based Imam, but... It's not like based mom, it's based Imam. He's just another guy who wants to get recognition, regardless of if it's good or bad. Infamy is a much easier route to take than genuine praise. You missed a part there. I don't see it. I'm gonna come back to this, so I'll go back over it. Maybe I'll drop a background color, and then I can like look at it through that. That usually helps in exposing any like areas that you miss. You drop like a background color, and pink is the new blue. No, he's not an Islamist. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what his motivations are, but I'm guessing that nihilism, and which is why I like Louis Levi's video, I'm guessing nihilism has a lot to do with it. It's, you know, this is a big problem. It's like potentially really big. Like YouTube, Google, Facebook, I don't know what they're gonna do in response to this. PewDiePie himself, he could lose his channel for all we know. They might just decide that he's too dangerous. Candace Owens is about as milquetoast as it gets when it comes to right-wing like ideas. So clearly, this isn't like, I don't know if he meant to do this. Like he has something against them, and he just figured, I'll just kill a bunch of people, and they'll have to blame Candace Owens and PewDiePie if I reference them. I don't know, man. But you know what? I just don't want to speculate on that. I guess my main issue is this identitarian left, identitarian right stuff. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't know. Look, what is the identitarian left? We know that, right? That's the progressives. That's Black Lives Matter. That's the Young Turks. That's Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. That's the Justice Democrats. That's Secular Talk. I mean, all those progressive socialist commies, they're always doing that. Antifa, by any means necessary. Hillary Clinton, right? They're all identitarians. They use identity politics to get what they want. That doesn't even mean that they necessarily give a shit about identity politics, by the way. They just find it useful. And at least in the case of, say, Hillary Clinton. I don't think Hillary really gives a shit about the color of people's skin. She just wants power, and that's a way to get it. But I think that, you know, feminists are identitarians, right? Feminists use women for everything, and it's super effective. That's the identitarian left. Now, by definition, Tim Pool says identitarian right is the alt-right. So what you're telling me is that if it's about white people, it's right-wing. Why? It's left-wing until it's about white people. That doesn't make any fucking sense. Specifically, it's left-wing until it's about white men. That makes even less sense. Why do I think it's so important for me to talk about this distinction and why it's being misdefined? Because what's happening here, when Tim says that he has problems with the identitarian left and the identitarian right, he's saying that he has problems with the identitarian left that identify with blacks and Asians and people of color, and the identitarian left that identifies with white people. And that's what his real issue is. It's the left fighting the left. And the left does fight the left. And that's what I honestly believe that. And the reason why it's important to say that is if you can change if you can change, okay, identitarianism between left and right by just simply changing the factors involved. So by basically saying if it's about white people, it must be right, and if it's about black people, it must be left, which again, that doesn't make any sense. If you can do that though, then they'll do it to us too. Because then they'll say, well, MRAs are identitarian right because they care about men and not women. And that will end up becoming a problem. Because it's not about left or right when you're an MRA. It is when you're a feminist, and the reason why is because feminists oppose men, they oppose white people, they oppose straight people, and so on down the progressive stack line. Intersectionalists especially. But also, Feminists, what do feminists want to solve the problems that they perceive? They want to redistribute resources towards women, towards people of color, towards away from the groups in power. MRAs don't want to do that. They don't want to redistribute anything. They just want men to have, to get some compassion. They just want compassion for men. They want to acknowledge that they have problems. If we engage in that left-right dichotomy, which again doesn't make any sense, then we're going to end up having to essentially do damage control because too many people buy into this bullshit. Identitarian right doesn't mean anything. I don't think it exists, honestly. Anyway, let's see what you guys are saying. I think he explained how... Jimmy Stiffingers is absolutely not... I think he explained how Islamism is against his religious interpretation, and I have heard many Muslims come to the same conclusion as him. Are you talking about Imam Tawhidi? Tawhidi... I saw him in an interview with another... He was doing a debate or something. I think he may have been on Roaming Millennials channel or something. And he had a specific type of Islam that he was trying to go back to. It was something that I guess was a precursor to the current form. So Mr. 0303 says the guy seems like a perfect leftist propaganda kamikaze. Yeah, the video is weird. Before he enters the mosque, he's in his car and people stop to let him leave the parking lot, and he gives them a thumbs up to show that they're good to cross. The guy wasn't crazy. I haven't seen the video yet, actually, but I heard that there might be more than one shooter. I heard from Lindsay, my wife, she said that she thinks there were like 3. Like she was like talking to them in internet lingo. It's authoritarian versus individual autonomy. That's basically it. Yeah. Iratami says, we all know white people are all evil right-wing Nazis. MRAs are not identitarian by default. I've almost never heard of an identitarian MRA. There is no such thing. But the problem is that if we allow this idea that something that is either like opposes something else or it conflicts with something else must be the opposite extreme, the mirror image, right? Then we're going to end up doing more damage control than we already have to. I mean, it's already like untrue that MRAs are identitarian. There's nothing identitarian about it that I've seen. And if it was, then I'd be, you know, fighting against that. Feminists only care about themselves and any special treatment that they can con others into giving them. Yeah, they care about power. Jimmy Stiff Fingers. I just don't like staring into that abyss. Yeah, you just gotta like unplug, man. I try to do it. You know, all I wanted to do was draw. That's it. I wanted to like make a living making art. It was the only thing I wanted to do. And I end up having to, I mean, I don't mind what I do. You know, I really don't. I actually like working on Honey Badger Radio quite a bit. I'm very grateful for the opportunity. It's like the best job I've ever had. And it doesn't pay that well. I mean, I'm like struggling, seriously. But I do enjoy doing what I do. But all this shit that's happening, I don't know. Every time another one of these tragedies, you know, occur, I just I'm at a loss, you know. I'm at a loss because I don't feel like, and this is the thing that it can be daunting. It can be a bit depressing too. It's like when you hear about these things, you're like, well, okay, so what normally would we do? We try to tell the truth so that people will not react to something that isn't what it might seem to be. Try to tell the truth. We try to like get people to calm down, you know, help those that are hurt, because 50 people died, right? But a lot of people were wounded. Let's help them. Let's, you know, give them support, etc. And then try to prepare for the next tragedy. I mean, there'll always be tragedy. I'm not saying that to be defeatist, right? It's just a part of life. But, I don't know. I didn't really want, I just wanted to make art online. That's all I wanted to do. Three arrested? Hoteps are right-wing identitarian and proudly so. They are how black as you can. They are how black as you can get. You mean like as black as you can get? The straight black pride movement are also right-wing identitarians and also, of course, black. Are they requesting essentially, because as far as I understand, the Hoteps may identify with their blackness and they may have reverence for it, but as far as I know, they're not trying to like take anything away from other people, right? They're not like pushing white people out or saying that you know, they don't want to be around white people or that white people owe them reparations or anything like that, right? I'm wondering about that. If that's true, then yeah, I'll give it to you. That's a good example of what a right-wing identitarian. Because the thing is about identitarians, well, I'm sorry. The thing is about the right, politically, okay? And I'm not talking about conservatives. I have to keep on explaining this. The right is about individual freedom. That's it. It's about freedom, and they don't like taxes, and they don't like welfare, okay? They don't like socialism. They don't like social programs. Those things are antithetical to right-wing philosophy as far as I know. So when people say right, I think that they're conflating with conservatism, and they're conflating with white people. So they just think right-wing equals white people. And I hate that because I know that's not true. Because there are plenty of right-wing people of color, and you're telling me that they're not. Are they like honorary white people? It doesn't add up. There is no identitarian MRA out there because anyone who has sufficiently invested into men's rights topics clearly understands that any kind of authoritarian institution would collapse easily for the gynocentrist narrative. Absolutely. You couldn't be an identitarian MRA. And besides, I don't think anyone wants that. It wouldn't work. It wouldn't work anyways. Oh shit, this is how little I care about the news. I had no idea that someone went all bowl cut in a mosque. Yeah, everyone's been talking about it since last night. Who's this you're drawing again, Brian? I forgot. Giorno Giovanna. This is a JoJo reference. He's a character from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Vento Aureo, which is the current run of JoJo. I'm gonna change this actually. Tonal correction, hue. Needs to be a little bit. Oh, that's too purple. Right here. Yeah, that's good. Maybe desaturate a teeny bit. and brighten it up a little bit. Okay, that's better. Most right-wing identitarians doesn't want anything from other races. Hoteps just want to focus on their own and don't want anything like reparations and affirmative action. Yeah, that makes sense. So that's an identitarian, right-wing. That's what I think it is, anyway. First person I saw talking about this was Lewis. Yeah. I saw Ash Gow, my favorite journalist. My favorite, I mean, like, hands down. I love Ash. Ash Gow, my favorite journalist, one of my favorite people. She made a post very, very briefly about it. I think she's writing an article probably on it. Very brief. That was the first sign that I saw. And then I saw Louis' video like a little while later. If you guys don't know who Ash Scow is, you should go follow her on social media, find her on Facebook, whatever. I love Ash. Ash is great. All right. So, next layer, 1243. I'm not gonna be able to stay on, guys, extra because I have to set up a show for later. I think this is too dark. We're gonna make this brighter and yellower. Let's try that. Yeah, that looks good. But we're going to be doing a rant circuit today on, well, it'll be fun. We're not going to talk about this New Zealand shit because we don't know all the info. But, you know, I think we should definitely follow up on it. I think this is, I'm guessing 9 out of 10, this is a men's issue at the end of the day. And it will not be addressed as such. Will not be addressed as such. We should, I think we should be talking about it in a way, but whatever, it's not up to me. All right. Probably put it in the news section. News section? What do you mean? Put the name that was associated with the Facebook account that was supposed to be live streaming the attack. I haven't seen that video. Do you know if that video is still up or if it was taken down or if there's any place where you can get it? I haven't seen the video and I kind of want to watch it. How much you guys want to bet this guy doesn't have a dad in his house? I'll take you up on that. Who thinks that, do we know that? I bet he doesn't have a father. I bet he was raised by a stepdad or a single mom. The manifesto. Oh yeah. Seen it. I haven't read it all though. It's the hair and teeth. And then he's got blue eyes. Too light. Let's go darker. Like right here. That's good. All right, so I didn't add any shading yet, so maybe I will, but here is Giorno and Gold Experience. Again, if you haven't seen JoJo, you need to go watch it. So that's not a bet. Okay, his manifesto says he comes from a two-family working class. Two-family? Or you mean like two-parent? He said a lot of shit in it. No, the MSM will sift it through the devil's anus and spin it into evil straight white male supremacy, orange man bad. They've already done that. They've already blamed, CNN is blaming Trump right now. Even though he doesn't mention Trump in his manifesto and he's in a fucking different country. Ashgal Rule 34 fan request imminent. I'll do another request stream next Thursday. So, you know, if you want me to do an Ash for you, I'll do it. Only thing is, she, you know, Ash used to have this cute bob haircut. And she's grown it all long now, so she looks a little bit more basic, in my opinion. I like her bob haircut. I thought that it was really cute, and it was like her thing. But she grew it all long, so she just looks like a normal woman now. Lol. His manifesto says he comes from a already read that bit. Two-parent. Oh, okay. Well, that's a surprise, but then again, I don't know. Are they both his biological parents, though? That's what I'm wondering about too, because he could. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. He could just have been a crazy person. It seems kind of crazy, so I don't think that's a bad assumption to make. The UK media tried the same thing with Tommy Robinson. They sent some journos to ask him about it. Yeah, I heard about that. What I find weird is that he's Australian, and he said he used a gun to push the anti-gun debate in the US. So retarded. Yeah, I know. Well, he's in New Zealand. I assume New Zealand's got the same gun laws that Australia does, but I don't know for sure. It's crazy, right? Like, if it has a strict gun laws in, well, you know what? Let me find out. I got 10 minutes, and I'm gonna stop this here. But let me know what you guys think about my Giorno while I go look this up. Because I'm curious about the gun laws in New Zealand. Gun laws. Gun laws in New Zealand. Gun licenses are issued at the discretion of the police in New Zealand, provided the police consider the person to be in good standing and without criminal, psychiatric, or drug issues, as well as meeting other conditions such as having suitable storage facilities. Well, that didn't work out. They must be issued for a valid reason, whatever that means. Several different categories of licenses are permitted, with the lowest one permitting access to restricted semi-automatic rifles and shotguns. Oh, like those AK-17 auto machine gun rocket launchers that we find so many people can get so easily. Various governments, I don't know, current law, so yeah, you can, under New Zealand law, some lawful, proper, and sufficient purposes, so they seem to be a little more lax than Australia. Get Ash to pose for waifu art. He said his life was just normal. Yeah, okay. He was a chainer. A channer, of course. Most things he said were over the top. In V's comment section, people were saying that NZ gun laws are very strict. Okay. Well, Wikipedia might be wrong. I don't know. I would imagine that it is. Being in high school, I remember getting along better with Catholics and Muslims than the average student, as Catholics and Muslims were often more aligned with my political viewpoints. Just a guess, but his guns were probably illegal. Well, Doesn't that just kind of explain why the Second Amendment is so important? He just made the argument for the Second Amendment. I don't know. You can just walk into a gun store and buy a fully automatic plasma shotgun musket. That's right. I saw the first Terminator. Yeah, I don't know. It's 12:52. I wanted to work on this more, but I'm out of time. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wrap up a little bit early. You know what? I'll hang out with you guys for a few minutes. I gotta finish setting up the show, and then I gotta like take the dog out and. I'm glad people are liking my tweet. I made a tweet earlier. I was watching Tim Pool's video, and Tim Pool was describing right-wing identitarians as basically like white people. And it really bothers me that he gets that wrong, so I had to make it. So I made a tweet. I said, fascism is left-wing, Nazism is left-wing, communism is left-wing, socialism is left-wing. Adding pro-white racism to any of these does not suddenly make them right-wing. Please stop using these terms incorrectly. That's it. I mean, we know those things are left-wing. And this isn't about social beliefs or cultural beliefs. Left or right is about how much, you know, authoritarian, how central do you want the government to be? How much power do you want to give it? How much authority over people's lives do you want it to have? Right? That's it. And like, how much do you want it to take care of people? The more left-wing you go, the more concerned you are with security in that, you know, like financial security, resource security. This is the reason why women tend to vote left, because they prioritize security over freedom. I'm not saying that that's right or wrong, but that's just the way it is. Women tend to vote left because they care about safety. They think the government's the best way to do it. And if you take the father out of the home, you take the man out of the home and out of the woman's life, she's likely to vote further left because she needs security that much more, because there isn't someone immediately available. That's why, and the MRAs have said this too, you take the father out of the home because the government becomes the father. So that's a left-wing idea, and that's what feminists want. Feminists have been, they basically said that women shouldn't need a man because the government should take care of them. So that is the end result of that. So the opposite of that is basically wanting more individual freedom for people, putting the father back in the home, where if he wants to support his kids, it is his choice, right? And that the support for the wife and kids should come right from him as opposed to the state, because when it comes from the state, all men that pay taxes, and most men pay most of the taxes, we end up paying more than what we would if we were just raising our families, you know, just paying for our families. So Tim Pool is ignorant, but on the other hand, fascism is not left wing. I studied it and it's really not. What is the argument for it being right wing then? I want to hear the argument for it to be a right wing, because I don't see it. And Razor Fist made a great video explaining how Mussolini got his idea from fascism from another gentleman, and how it is essentially still a left-wing ideology because it's spending the government money on its people. And I don't mean like in defense, like on defense, which is like the military. I speak to a very conservative MGTOW from New Zealand. He fucking hates it there, lol. You said you wanted to cover the New Zealand topic. Where would I put the video and manifesto in the Discord? Can you PM me? If you're in the Honey Badger, like the official Honey Badger Discord, and you're like a patron, just put it anywhere and tag me. But if you're not and you're like in the fan Discord, then you can also just PM me too. Try to like send me a private message. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, send me a PM and I'll look at it. I'd like to talk about it, but I don't think we're going to be talking about it today, but who knows? I don't know. Maybe by this afternoon. Cuz Karen said she doesn't know she wants to talk about it. But I think we have to at some point. Inevitably, right? Right-wing ideologies are reactionary and hierarchical, and those are two core pillars of what makes something a right-wing ideology. Are they though? Because the left has hierarchies too. Like they create, progressives have a hierarchy, right? Reactionary, I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I guess I have to, like, the way I look at it is, if somebody tells me that these are the traits of the right, then I look to see if the left has those same traits, and if they do, then it might make it moot, you know? And maybe that's not the best way to describe things. Fascists are communists just with less ambition. PM can tell Brian a boomer is calling it that instead of a DM. Yeah, I don't slide in my PMs. Post midday. What did PM stand for when you're talking about time? Is it post midday? Just like AM is... No, I don't even know what that means. I don't know if anybody knows what AM and PM stand for. I never looked it up. Anyway, it's 12:59. I gotta go. I got a lot of work to do today. So I want to thank you guys for coming on the Comicsgate art stream. Sorry for the dark topic. Let me save this image as a work in progress. I think I might change more things, move it around, add some other color. But I had fun drawing this. Next weekend, next Friday, I think what I'm gonna do, I haven't decided for sure, but I think next Friday what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start a very sexy Captain Marvel. So stick around. Well, more accurately, Ms. Marvel, the old Warbird costume, which I love. So if you guys want to, if you're looking forward to that, it'll be next Friday. I haven't drawn a sexy lady in a while, so. But in the meantime, I'm gonna let you guys go. I want to thank you guys for coming on the Comicsgate art stream. And yeah, give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell for notifications. Also, leave me a comment. I'll talk to you guys later on in a couple hours. Have a good one, everybody.